My name is Amirus Mujaya.
So what are we gonna do here, guys? Penang is one of the most famous spots in Malaysia, and with good reason. Most of the state of Penang is located on the island, and such as you can enjoy beaches, sparkling waters, and a laid-back island feel coupled with a big city experience. This part of Malaysia is also known for its food, and anyone who loves to eat will truly find a culinary paradise here, much of which is down to the mixed influences in the city.
Malaysia consists of multiple ethnic groups, and the most prominent ones are the Malay or Muslim Malay that have 50.1% share of population of Malaysia, followed by Chinese Malaysians with 22.6%, and last is the Indian Malaysians with 6.7%. Because of the diversity, a good understanding of a cross-cultural communication is needed.
So we are going to University of Science of Malaysia.
Yes.
So what schedule?
We are going to meet up with some people from the campus at
Yes.
Proper Republic.
Yeah.
We're going there right now.
When we interviewed Brother Youssef, a Nigerian student at USM, regarding communication with Malays, he shared some of the tips and tricks based on his experience.
In terms of culture-wise, when you learn their language, they take you as their brothers. They take you as their sisters. When you learn their language and you speak, in fact, they are ready to be with you because they feel more comfortable. I give you an experience. There was an email I sent to IPS when I had an issue. Then I sent it in English language, but I didn't get a response until 2 weeks. So the next time when I sent another message, I sent in Malay. Then less than 4 hours, I got a response.
Faster.
So it shows that when you speak the official language, then we will respond to you faster.
After the interview with Brother Youssef, we found some key takeaways. First, you have to be honest if speaking with Malays, then they will be open to speak with you. Typical Malays aren't ready to speak, so if you start a conversation with them with Assalamualaikum, they will be more open and welcoming to your questions or conversation. Of course, this is only applicable to Malays of a Muslim background. For Malays of a non-Muslim background or Malays of Chinese or Indian ethnicity, starting a conversation with Assalamualaikum is not applicable. They can answer questions or respond a conversation without much problem. Some Malays prefer other people to speak with them or ask questions to them in Malay language because their official language is Malay. Because that way they will be more comfortable talking with you and can explain things more thoroughly, clearly, and effectively. Malays usually answer in short words like can, there, as opposed to a fuller sentence, for example, I can't do it or it's right there. It's a direct, straight to the point conversation. In most local markets, if you can speak the official Malay language, usually you will get a discount from the vendor as a way of gratitude or respect for speaking Malay. The theories presented in the interview are Similarity Attraction Theory from Burchard and Worcester in 1969 and Byrne in 1971. There is a saying that goes, birds of a feather flock together, meaning that people are more attracted and more comfortable with people that are similar to them. For example, people that speak the same language, in this case, the official Malay language, and have the same religion, in this case, fellow Muslims. Ethnocentric, the minimization. Elements of one's own culture are viewed as universal. This is shown when talking with Malays, you need to be honest to get along with them. We also observe that, for Indonesians who are trying to speak Malay, some words can cause confusion due to its different meanings in Indonesian and Malay language. For example, pusing means to turn in Malay, but in Indonesian, pusing means dizzy or headache. Percuma in Malay means free of charge, but in Indonesian it means useless. There are many more examples of different meanings of the same word. So for Indonesian, especially tourists who only stay for a short time, who have not yet mastered the Malay language, it is better to speak in English to avoid confusion, ambiguity, or double meanings in a conversation. A good intercultural dialogue can be built by both parties speaking the same universal language, such as English. At the poster presentation, we observed how most contestants of Indian descent seem to be able to present and convey the contents of their posters to the audience with more energy and precision than their Chinese and Malay counterparts. That kind of outspoken and energetic way of communicating with the audience can make the audience pay attention more
and engage more with their poster and presentation.
Malaysia has been labeled as an Asia and microcosm representative of the multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multi-religious characteristic of the country's famous diversity. Because of that, Penang has a diverse workforce. On this trip, we have an opportunity to visit Fitrox Company and Jeruk Madu Pak Ali Company. Fitrox Company is a Malaysia-based company that specializes in designing and developing automated vision inspection system and equipment tester for the semiconductor and electronic packaging industry as well as electronic communication equipment. Fitrox received numerous national and international recognition for their outstanding performance in the product development and corporate performance as well as human resource development. When we come to Fitrox, we are amazed with their corporate culture. They really care with their employees. They create a health campaign to create awareness for the healthy lifestyle. It can be seen in their cafeteria and their workplace design. It's like a second home concept with the intention to making employees feel at ease when working. We rarely see this kind of company culture in an Indonesian company. We also observe that in Fitrox, their majority employees are Chinese ethnicity. To answer our curiosity, we asked one of the MBA students from USM.
One is a China-based company, another one is local Chinese. Okay, Penang is a majority. If you look at the population of Penang, it's majority is Chinese people. So naturally, then there will be more Chinese people, Malaysian of Chinese origin working in that company. But then it goes back to the culture of the parent company itself. For example, if you have a US-based company, then it follows the US-based company's culture into that. So it becomes an international company. It doesn't matter that if it's Chinese or Indian or Malaysian, or Malay working there. But then if you go into a local-based company, that's a different story. So for example, the small and medium enterprises, some of them are actually owned by certain races. They could be an Indian-owned company, could be a Malay-owned company or Chinese-owned company. That companies will have the ingrained.
The second company that we visited was Jeruk Madu Pak Ali. It's a local company that produces fruit pickles as a popular souvenir of Penang. Jeruk Madu Pak Ali really integrated his Muslim background into the company culture. We observed many pictures on the wall depicting sayings and teaching about Islam. The company also emphasizes on its halal status of its product. They treat the family-like environment and togetherness really highly. He awarded the senior employees who have spent a long time in the company with Umrah paid by the company. The company also encouraged the idea of hiring local people as a way to improve their well-being and competence. As a way to give back the community by flourishing the local talent and productivity in the workplace. We also found how the women were prominent in the fruit peeling section. The manager of the company explained the reason behind this. It is because the locals are used to how that are more meticulous and tidy when peeling fruit, as often seen in the local household. The implementation of women as the fruit peelers comes from the theory from Greer and Stephen research in 1996 of how cultural values are important for interpersonal trust, teamwork, and the role of women in the workplace. The differences between the two companies that we felt was in Jeruk Madu Pak Ali, they carry a prominent Islamic attribute. Meanwhile, in Fitrox, they are more general and secular. And for the similarities between the two companies, are they really concerned in their employees' well-being and has a company culture that follows their founding fathers' cultural background.
Like most of the other regions in Malaysia, Penang has a diverse group of people with different religions. The most prominent one is of course Muslim people with 61.3%, followed by Buddhists with 19.8%, Christians with 9.2%, and Hindus with 6.3%. Other traditional Chinese religions were 1.3%. Religious tolerance is stated in the Malaysian Constitution in Article 11 and Article 3. Islam is the national religion, but other religions may be practiced in peace and harmony. We observed that the religion tolerance in Malaysia is high. We found that in some places in Penang, places of worship such as mosques, temples, and churches can be found within one area. For example, Penang Hill is the location where we found a mosque and a Hindu temple within close proximity with each other. Other places in downtown Georgetown like Pitt Street are similar. A mosque, Hindu temple, a church, and a Chinese Star temple located just meters away from each other. This is why Pitt Street is called Harmony Street by the locals. From an interview with the local, one of the main reasons for this is because of Georgetown's limited space of land available at that time. So religious places like mosques, temples, and churches were built close to each other. Regardless, there has been no significant conflict among different religions. Places of worship being close to each other was never a problem for the locals. The theory of how different places of worship in one area can still be harmonious may be one of the inspirations behind the existence of multi-faith prayer rooms that can be found in various workplaces, airports, hospitals, and universities. In using this kind of multi-faith prayer rooms, the presence of social cooperation and openness are important.